All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today is August 1st, 2026, and I'm your host, Joshua Michael. We've been diving in over the past couple weeks in regards to the flock camera outrage that's happening in collaboration with the data center information going on and the millions and millions and millions of license plates that are being captured every single day by these systems. Well, the citizens are rejecting it in droves if they're being educated on what these cameras are being used for, how we're being surveilled, and how this police state is actually being created right now. Now, there's a lot of other geopolitical news, there's a lot of financial news going on, there's a lot of things going on, but I feel like these flock cameras are an Overton window into the future of our society. And is this the society that we want to have? That's the question. And so we're going to be diving deep again into the flock systems. But it's not just the flock, as you know. We've talked about the Axon systems, which are now replacing the flock systems. But the debate is coming down to how secure and how quote-unquote safe do you want to be in this society? Do you want to have the average police officer virtual unrestricted access to be able to use and abuse these systems, whether you're a target or not, and be capturing your data? Well, we'll dive into it here shortly.
If the road were easy, everyone would take it. We don't shy away from challenges. We dive in. And now, live from an undisclosed location
more on that coming up.
10,
Thanks for joining.
Your host, Joshua Michael.
All right, guys, so we're going to dive into this because I think we have to keep pressing the attack and hammering the fact that we don't want this surveillance state. Now, a lot of you naysayers are saying, well, we're not doing anything wrong, so what's the big deal? What happens when you are doing something wrong? What happens when you are considered a threat to the United States of America Corporation? That could be as simply as not wearing a mask, not standing 6 feet, disobeying traffic laws accidentally, not turning on your blinker. As you know, in 2027, they're rolling out the surveillance requirement for every vehicle. New manufacturer vehicle is going to be monitoring, controlling, and making sure that you're fit to be able to drive and you're not too tired or, under some type of influence, which I think in retrospect can be a good thing. Drunk driving is a thing, and it does happen. I don't suggest it. I don't recommend it. Especially with the abilities of taxis and Ubers and things like that, you shouldn't be doing that. But do we really want some third-party company, some third-party corporation selling your driving data, selling your information, and normalizing the fact that you're constantly being surveilled? We do not want that. That is not the healthy society that we need. As they create more and more chaos with the homeless problems, the migrant crisis, massive migrant crisis, the open borders going on in Spain right now is getting huge amounts of attention. It's not by accident. If they create an unstable society and get people into a state of fear, you will then start to be giving up your rights in the name of security. It's exactly what happened in 9/11. We got to get the terrorists. So it's okay now for the TSA to pat you down and run biometrics and do all that because we're preventing terrorism. But we don't want that. We want a civilized society. We want closed borders. We want the ability to self-govern. That's the entire premise of America. That's what we fled Europe for, is to be able to self-govern. And yeah, it's not perfect, but you know what? It's way more civilized than having some third-party company that's running algorithms on your life to determine what kind of citizen you are and start issuing citizen credits. So flock is simply the segue. It is the deep state, tyrannical state, police state rolling out because it has to uncloak to get you to adopt it in order to move the next phase. And are we going to do that? Tyler Olveria did a phenomenal documentary deep dive into this. And I'm going to play segments of it because I think it's very important to realize where the conversation's going. And this collaborates with the data center that they were trying to put in Salem. Rest assured, just because Tina Kotek had made the announcement that she's going to shut down that project, which it's sending tidal waves through all the Republicans, independents, and Democrats. She's getting huge amounts of credit. I personally believe this is just a political move. In starting the midterms and the political cycle in the upcoming vote, she is now going to carry a huge amount of favor with people by making this move. And Christine Drazen, haven't seen or heard anything that she's been talking about with the data centers, probably because she's in their pocket. She's not the champion fighter that we want as Republicans, but that's what we got. So that's what we deserve. So anyways, listen to this report that Tyler did. I'm going to play a huge portion of it because it's very informative. But this is the raw intel that we need, that I want to push into this show today so you guys understand what's going on. Take a listen.
Okay, he's going in. That's a flock camera. The deflocking process has begun. An AI-powered camera that captures and logs every car that drives past it, and there's over 100,000 of them all over America. Okay, it is blinking red. Deflocked. Do you think the deflockers will be flocked?
100%.
So flock around and find out?
Yep.
While these cameras are innocently sold as a tool to help find stolen vehicles, in reality, it's a rapidly growing network feeding one database, searchable by virtually any police department paying for access for any reason they could keyboard jam into a text box.
Thoughts on this flock camera being outside your home?
And not everyone is happy to see these cameras plastered all over America.
Law enforcement agencies across the country use AI-powered cameras to scan billions of vehicles each month, often without drivers even knowing they're being recorded.
Milwaukee police officer is accused of using flock safety cameras to search for a lover's location.
These drone video shows officers approach him in the driveway and handcuff him in seconds. But they had the wrong man.
A 6-year-old was forced out of her car, down onto the pavement, and held at gunpoint. All because an AI-powered camera misread a license plate.
Sergeant Jamie Milliam came to my door, accused me of a $25 package theft.
You know we have cameras in that town and you can't get a breath of fresh air in or out of that place without us knowing, correct?
Okay.
This should scare every single person.
The American people are not someone who can be controlled.
It's called flock for a reason, because they treat us like animals.
But do these cameras prevent crime, solve crime, or just record it? Can police departments be trusted with access to a growing network of over 100,000 plus cameras all over America? How often do these cameras make mistakes that put innocent people's lives at risk? Who's responsible when they do? And what exactly are we sacrificing our privacy for? While I investigate, I hired a private investigator to ensure the Flock CEO, Garrett Langley, wasn't committing any crime or cheating on his wife. Surely he won't mind sacrificing some privacy in the interest of public safety if he has nothing to hide.
I want eyes on him. Every move, every plate number, every address, every breath in 4K. Let's see how you like being spied on, Garrett.
While the private investigator I hired is surveilling the CEO of Flock, let's go to the Flock capital of America, Houston, Texas, and see how they feel about these cameras all over their city.
Have you seen like these cameras everywhere tracking your...
I didn't even notice that. Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Oh, you didn't even notice that?
We're just asking folks if they want more cameras or less cameras out here in Houston.
Less.
Less, way less.
Way less?
Less.
Less? Yeah.
It'll be more.
More?
More cameras.
More. Probably more.
Yeah? And why?
Because I feel like if we have a record of everything, then there would be less, allegations going on and more proof.
Más cámaras? Would you prefer there are more cameras in the area? Yeah.
Less cameras, they don't help for anything, bro. That red light, I be passing it all the time, so I don't want no cameras here.
You don't want any cameras?
No cameras.
I mean, more cameras.
More cameras like this.
Yes.
I would probably say less, my personal opinion.
I would say less. I mean, I see a lot of them up already, man.
Like, we don't need any more.
I've seen them on the news. I'm like, I don't really care. Again, I don't think the amount matters. It's just what they're using it for, who's using it.
Do they make you feel safer or unsafe?
Unsafe.
It's debatable.
More safe.
Safe.
It could depend if they're actually going to do something, you know, with all the stuff that goes on downtown.
Sure. Saying nighttime, it's more safe.
More safer.
I feel like I'm being stalked, bro.
You feel you're being stalked?
Yeah.
Public-wise, yes. Finding somebody, yes. Abductions, yes.
Okay.
But like for traffic stops and tickets, then no.
Depending on where they're connected towards, like.
What if they're connected to some cop beating his meat looking at a photo of you?
No.
When goes down, do these cameras stop going down?
Not at all. You hardly even see police out here stopping stuff.
Okay.
Let's say.
Yeah? You feel like you're being stalked?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Privacy's being invaded.
I think it would be less safe because it's kind of invasion.
An invasion of your privacy?
Yeah. I mean, it's too much already.
Yeah, I mean, it don't matter, man. I see a lot up already anyway, so.
We do not like being watched all the time, no.
I think there are two sides to it, you know, like obviously there are cases where it can help, and I think that those are good, but of course you have willingly letting the government kind of keep track of us. So I don't like the idea of just willingly giving in and letting the government, you know what I mean? It's like we're not even fighting at this point. They just, whether they spy on us or not, at least before we didn't know, but now it's kind of like it's in our face.
Literally in your face.
Exactly. Yeah. So I kind of have mixed opinions about it.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna use it the right way, yeah, sure, go ahead.
And do you feel like your privacy is being invaded at all?
No.
Okay.
Privacy is a human right, and I don't think that it should matter whether I have something to hide or not. I don't have anything to hide, but when I close the curtains in my house, I don't have anything to hide. I just don't want, I want privacy, which is a human right.
Same.
Honestly, no, I think if you're in public, man, and, anywhere, everyone's a streamer now, everyone walks around with cameras. Yeah, it's happening everywhere. So if you're in public.
So, I mean, to stop crime, seriously, crime is going to happen no matter what. I mean, I don't give what kind of security systems you have, it's still going to happen.
As I talked to the locals in Houston, I was surprised at how many people simply didn't care if there were cameras watching them.
If they're using them properly and actually we're stopping crimes and I could see some metrics where, crimes are being stopped, then I could maybe say yes.
Given that flock cameras were all over the city, the answer is surely supported by data and hard-hitting facts, right?
We got a camera right here. We got a flock camera right here. We have a camera right there, camera right there. Another one. We are in the surveillance state, whether we like it or not. Rest assured, when you take your little ones to the park, we know you're here. Houston is living in a surveillance state. There are cameras literally everywhere. Are we any better than China? We got 2 flock cameras literally pointed in the same direction. Does it make you feel safer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you want more of your tax dollars going towards these cameras?
Yes, sir.
In order to truly answer the question and see whether people are actually paying for safety or paying to feel safe, I met up with the most notorious criminal defense lawyer in Houston to see how these cameras are being used in court.
You work with some of the most violent criminals in Houston.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Since the introduction of flock cameras, have you seen a noticeable reduction in violent crime?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I've seen actually more people come into my office, and it's great for business. I've been seeing that there's an allegation of like a murder that would happen, and they would say that the getaway driver or the defendant was in that vehicle, and that vehicle was going up 45 highway. From 45 highway, it goes to I-10, pretty much just following it and just putting the pieces together to say that this is the person that committed that murder. It's just another tool that they use to try to show that there's a higher chance that my client's the one who committed that crime. I've seen them use it a lot. It's another tool that they have along with DNA. It's another tool they have along with surveillance videos from private entities like people's houses.
Is it helping prosecute your clients more often or less often?
I mean, it can provide damaging evidence in some cases. They definitely haven't made it harder. If anything, they have helped our cases. Personally, I don't like the invasion of privacy, and I think they should go away.
It makes it easier when there's footage that I can use, and that's in any aspect of the law, right? It makes that footage also can make it harder when people are trying to hide footage, right? But it depends on who you're representing.
Okay.
So.
Are we going to sit by and stand by and let this deep state police state overtake our lives and become acceptable because these hellacious blue cities have become so bad? The answer is no. Thanks for listening.
In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. In the time of censorship, non-compliance is key. From an undisclosed location in FEMA Region 10, it's your host, Joshua Michael.
All right, welcome back, guys. Joshua Michael, second segment. So what do you think about this documentary? What do you think about the conversation? I mean, you as a citizen, do you like being tracked and controlled? I mean, you already are. If you got a cell phone, you're walking with a cell phone. I mean, I was with my kids, and we always do these like movies, docuseries things where, you know, we watch different things and we talk about it. We have a discussion. So we watched the Snowden documentary the other day, and then I played what the real documentary of Edward Snowden called Citizen 4, which is, I feel like they created the movie Snowden to overshadow Citizen 4, which is the actual documentary. So we watched and compared to, and we kind of took notes. But what was so interesting, back in 2012, everything that Edward Snowden was talking about as far as the surveillance state then versus now, I mean, could you imagine? You guys have no idea how invasive all of these systems are. It's only gotten worse. We haven't gotten better in protections. You know, that's kind of my thing with being skeptical about people like Elon Musk, is he talks about privacy and encryption and everything else. But to my understanding, there's nothing you can do. You can run a VPN. It doesn't do anything. I don't care what all the talk show hosts say about protecting your data. Yes, it does run interference, you know, against certain advertisers and certain abilities. But essentially, they've cracked the code to where nothing is actually secure. And that was back in 2012. You know, roughly, what would that be? 14 years ago. With the abilities with AI and quantum computing and everything else, I mean, just really there is no protection. But do we want to openly allow your neighbors, essentially, because police officers, they all have, you know, they all live in your neighborhood. They live around here, everything else. Do you want them to have open, unvetted, unfiltered, unrestricted access to anybody that they want? There's so many instances now that are coming out where, you know, they're abusing this, and they're just like people, just like anything. But we're not living in a tyrannical government. We're not living in communist China. We don't want people to have access to that. There's due process. There's innocent until proven guilty. There's the ability for, you know, people to be able to prove things. And then where does the authenticity come in for the ability to utilize illegally captured footage in a potential crime? And they're trying to normalize it, so they're pushing this boundary because they need us. By 2030, they need us to adopt this stuff so they can control the population through a mass extinction level event that is very likely to happen. You might think it sounds crazy, whatever. Get off this show if you don't think so. If you don't think that they are openly set to create a mass extinction level event. Whether through giant famine with all the wars going on, a giant banking collapse in which, you know, millions of people will starve to death and they simply will be on the streets. They won't be able to live. They won't be able to survive. They won't be able to function in the society that has been developed that's so complex and interdependent on markets from all over the world in order for us to get our goods and services. Once that collapses, where it's very fragile, because we've over-leveraged through these corporations that have been putting profit before people for decades, running things on such a shoestring budget, not caring about people's livelihoods, not caring about pensions, not caring about any of that. And that's the society that we live in. So as we press further and further and further into this bubble that we're in, we're not even going to start on the AI bubble that we're in. And the inability to mass produce technology and infrastructure and all these futures contracts that they have that they can't afford, they're not going to be able to fulfill, but it's propping up the stock market in such many ways that we just can't even fathom with how that's going. I mean, we are living in a ticking time bomb, and at any moment, this war could kick off and shut things down even further. You know, we're never going to get the truth. We're never going to get the reality in which we live in. And therein lies the argument with people is what kind of world do we want to accept? Essentially, you can choose to live in reality and realize that we are not in business as usual times. It's not a good time to make big investments or make big things. It's time to hold your cards and start getting ready for something big. Because I think something big is coming. Something big's coming. We don't know exactly what it is. The day they killed Charlie Kirk, i.e. whoever the deep state Israeli operatives or whatever it's coming out to, it was not Tyler Robinson. That entire case is falling apart, whether you want to admit it or not. There was definitely a lot of coordination. And Candace has been over the target the entire time. And she goes off in these rabbit holes, and a lot of you guys chalk it up as being BS, but there's a lot of cards that she's holding that you guys don't know yet. And I personally believe she's got the answers to who was behind this assassination, which was extremely coordinated. It was not some random furry from the internet that just woke up one day and decided that he was going to kill Charlie Kirk. But Charlie Kirk was such an important point, considering he had Trump's ear and he was one of the only dissenting voices in the White House that had the respect of Trump, telling him not to go to Iran and not to initiate this war that we're deep into. So much so that they've had to revise the draft statute to where they've raised the draft age to 42. From 35 to 42. And now they're also going to be automating the draft coming December for anybody 18 to 24 or 25 will be automatically initiated into the draft. Why would they be gearing up for soldiers and boots on the ground if they weren't planning on some type of invasion, something going on, potentially in Iran? Maybe it's in Spain, maybe it's in, Puerto Rico for that matter. Who knows what they have planned, but they wouldn't need those personnel and need that draft contingency if they weren't planning on going to war. So I do want to get more into that. I'll get more into that next week as things transpire, but I'm going to play more of this Flock documentary on the other side. Thanks for listening.
It's time to unmask the truth and expose the lies. The occupied forces do not want you to hear this broadcast. Breaking through the censorship and delivering raw, unedited content, it's Joshua Michael with Non-Compliant America.
Not if you're actually trying to make something.
All right, we're going to continue on this Flock documentary because I think it's very powerful. And these are firsthand accounts interviewing DAs, police officers, people that have firsthand knowledge of these Flock systems, as well as the public that has been able to educate themselves. Take a listen.
If it helps our case, we can use it. If it doesn't help our case, then nobody else will really know that we obtained it in the first place.
Ultimately, I think if the focus is the safety of an individual and it doesn't spiral, then that's great. The problem is we're humans. Things spiral.
But the problem is there is no independent peer-reviewed study showing that Flock reduces crime. The strongest research saying Flock solves crime is a white paper written by Flock using Flock's own data. And in their own paper, Flock admits that the core question of whether these crimes otherwise would have remained unsolved in the first place was never tested. And that question, in their own words, is unlikely to be solved at scale via quantitative analysis. Translation: the proof doesn't exist, and by their own account, it may never. The strongest independent evidence for ALPR technology closing cases is a 2019 study of a different company's cameras, which found clearance gains for auto theft and robbery that were not statistically significant once researchers controlled for other factors. The authors themselves said further assessment was needed. That's it. That's the evidence selling an estimated 100,000 plus cameras. In fact, in the same years flock cameras went up across Houston, HPD was found to have suspended more than 264,000 case reports under a code meaning they lacked the personnel to investigate them, meaning the city was pouring money into technology to detect crime while lacking the manpower to investigate it. Yup, Houston spent $6.39 million over 4 years on these cameras, with $3.94 million of it coming out of the general fund, the same fund that pays the investigators to solve the crimes that were left suspended.
Do you think there will be a world in which technology like Flock in the future puts you out of business entirely? That there is so much evidence collected with sensory technology, which the case is perfectly built in 4K, the jury just has to watch it and they can see the whole story unfold?
No, it's not.
Why
no,
not?
It's not, because everything's still dependent on arguments. There are other defense attorneys, I'm not gonna name them, but some of them would just look at the overwhelming evidence and say, you know what, dude, you might as well take a plea because we're gonna lose. Which I don't do that. I think differently than other defense attorneys out there, and that's what they like about me. So I'm looking for more trials to go to that can include murder, raping, theft, arson, child rape.
What happens when cameras like Flock's make mistakes, putting innocent lives at risk and accusing innocent people of crimes they didn't commit? Let me introduce you to Robert.
Robert, what happened on the day of May 3rd?
On the day of May 3rd, I was on an extended work trip, 10 days to be specific, up in Jacksonville. And I was going over some of the work of the previous properties that we had finished, making sure that they were done correctly. And I did find some errors, and so I hop out of my vehicle and I noticed there's a police car behind me. Maybe he thought I was trespassing, I don't know. So I approached thinking maybe I'll clarify, make sure everything's okay. And I go to the back of my vehicle. I was going to get my equipment as well as I walked up. I got to the back of our work truck, put a single hand on the vehicle when Deputy Anthony stepped out of his vehicle, gun drawn. He had his Glock drawn. He had good trigger discipline. It was pointed to the ground. It wasn't pointed directly at me, and that put me at ease a little bit. And I just wasn't sure what was going on. So I went into full compliance mode. Whatever he asked is what I gave. I'm not going to sit there and argue with a deputy, let alone one with a gun drawn. Takes me to the back of his patrol car, places me in the back seat. I notice several other deputies have now shown up. 2 female officers and 2 additional male officers arrive at the scene, and I don't really know what's going on. No one has spoken to me at this point, and I'm just waiting patiently for them to clear the vehicle and confirm that I am alone. And after, I'd say, 10-minute period, maybe 15 max, Deputy Anthony steps back into the car with me and asks me, or first he reads me my Miranda rights and says, do you want to waive your right to remain silent? I say yes, and I ask if I'm currently under arrest. And he says, no, you're currently detained. I ask, what is going on? And he says that the car has been reported stolen. And I said, well, I'm sure that's just a clerical error. I'm sure you guys will get this figured out. He says, okay. He gets out. That he has some discussion with the surrounding deputies. He gets back in the car and asks me more questions about the car. And he says something's just not making sense, and he's on his computer and he's working through his computer when finally he shows me his computer. He's like, you know what, just take a look. This is where we're at and what is going on. He says,
did he show you?
He showed me his computer. What exactly I'm looking at, I don't know. I'm not familiar with their systems or what they use or what programs they use. But he said, see right here where your name is green or your license plate is green. I don't know which one it was. A few minutes ago it was red. And to which I replied, like, oh, it's updating in real time. Like, what is this? And he says, well, the system flagged you as someone who has stolen this vehicle. And now it's saying that your vehicle has not been stolen.
And Robert's not the only one victimized by this technology's margin of error, combined with police rushing to judgment.
Well, hi there. How are you doing? Doing so good it should be illegal. Is Kristanna available?
She is. She's taking a nap right now. Let's see if she can come out really quick.
Yeah, that's fine. Hi there, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Kristanna, my name is Sergeant Jamie Milliman with the Columbine Valley Police Department.
Okay.
You know why I'm here?
No.
Okay. You drive through the town of Beaumar quite often?
Nope.
You don't?
No, I work from home.
Okay. You know we have cameras in that town and you can't get a breath of fresh air in or out of that place without us knowing, correct?
Okay.
Okay. You say you don't drive there, but you've been driven through about 20 times this month?
Probably my husband or I.
Okay. But this is you, right?
Both of us, yes. We
Okay.
both drive the same vehicle.
Okay. So you have you're going to stand by, you don't know why I'm here?
I know.
Okay. Okay. There was a theft of a package from 5245 Ridge Trail on Tuesday. Like I said, we have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing. You know the quality on the camera doorbell you have.
Yep.
I've got that on my phone right now of you taking that package.
My name is Kristanna Elser, and on September 27th, 2025, Sergeant Jamie Milliam came to my door accusing me of a $25 package theft.
$25 package?
$25. I was trying to figure out what was he talking about.
And did he have evidence of the theft?
Well, he claimed he's done an extensive investigation on it, and he basically just showed me a picture of the truck going through the neighborhood.
And that was your truck?
And that was my truck, and that was the time I went through the neighborhood on Monday. He kept saying Tuesday, which added further confusion because my husband, again, our vehicle has cameras, and my husband works at a security location. And so he said, I can prove that she didn't have the truck on Tuesday, so you're way off.
I have you on camera.
Okay.
You taking a package and walking away. Is there any reason why you would have done that?
Nope.
Do you know anyone that lives on Ridge Trail?
No.
Okay, well then I'll make this easy since you're just going to deny it. I'm going to issue you a summons that you'll be showing up in court in Jefferson County.
Well, can I see this video?
If you go to court, you can. If you're going to deny it, I'm not going to extend you any courtesy. If you're going to lie to me, I have you roughly 20 times this month alone. And here's when you left at 12:09. That's when you left town.
Okay, wait a minute.
Take a package. Well, there's no shushing. I don't need to be.
Yes, there is. I need to know where this is. We have cameras on our truck, so we can show you exactly where we were.
I already know where you were.
Yeah.
I have it on camera. I have you on camera walking up, ringing the doorbell, taking the package, and literally running away. You on camera doing this. It is her. It is 100%. It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I know it's unbelievable to you. I get that. I get that this is a shock to you.
Well, he would not show me the picture of me accusing me of taking the package on there. And so that would have really cleared, I think, a few things up. So that was a little concerning. And what was very much entertaining is that if he had done his proper due diligence at his own office, he probably would have saw that my truck was parked in front of the other flock camera the entire time. But we're assuming he had to see in the vehicle at some capacity to see that I looked like that individual, because he was providing nothing else to say, oh, here I see you getting out of the truck, and here I see this person stealing. He didn't have any of that. He strictly had, this is your vehicle, and then this looks like you. Well, how did you put that together?
So this police officer is using flock cameras to argue you committed a crime, and you have all of your own cameras to prove that you didn't commit the crime.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the ring camera footage of the woman who actually stole the package, it is 1000% not you. You can easily see that.
Yes.
Yet he still thinks it is 100% you.
I'm sure he does. I mean, even I spent 2 weeks reaching out to the mayor, the town council, the supervisor, the chief of police, trying to get somebody to return my phone call. And we even went in person down there. And the town attorney came by, and he didn't want to hear from us either. And lo and behold, the very next day, he posted on the Neighbors app saying, can anybody give him more evidence on my truck in the area?
The officer posted it on the Neighbors app.
Yep, the Columbine Valley Police Department.
Is that legal?
I don't know. I guess he was collecting more evidence where I could have made his job way easier. People would have just contacted me back. I said to him, I said, we have evidence to provide to you. He said, no, I'll see it in court. You can see the evidence I have when you go to court in 2 months.
Well, you have to appear for this.
There's no way we can see this video or anything now.
If you go to court, you may.
Why can't we see it now?
Because you have not been honest with me, so I'm not going to extend you any courtesy of showing you a video when I don't need to.
But I can show you videos.
No, you cannot.
Yes,
I can show you.
Okay, show me that.
No, you're not being honest with me.
If
you guys have a good afternoon.
So it's time to fight and time to stand up, and we can't let these thugs start dictating things in our lives about our own information, our private information. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, guys. Joshua Michael, Non-Compliant America. I got some really exciting news. It's been a long time coming. I've been on the air for 3 to 4 years now, trying to bring forth as much cutting-edge information to make you, conscious of what's going on in the world, so we can create opposition for it and really hold our elected officials accountable, as well as hold ourselves accountable. And that's by, eating better food, being more aware of the chemicals and, the poisons and things around us, being a better person, being a better community member, taking an active role in your life. Yes, it does take work, but it's the most fulfilling thing that you can do. And that's the entire premise of everything that we stand for, everything that we want to do. We want to create a better society. And as we, try to root out the corruption and the bad people and everything else, I believe that if we become better people and more grounded people and more involved in our lives and our communities, then the rats will leave the sinking ship. They will have to be eradicated, and we'll get better people in government. If we have a good society, we got a good pool of people to pull from that operate in pure accountability and are open and honest and are really trying to have a betterment of the community. If we have more people like that, more than likely we're going to get better politicians and better people with confidence, because we pave a path for that. It used to be normalized to operate in the corruption in the 90s and the 80s and 70s, everything else, because there was no pathway for good people to actually get into government, which if we create a better society, we will long for that, we'll resonate with that, and we won't let these, crazy pedophile loving, bankers and crooked politicians run our world, because we'll simply say no. And so that's the premise of it. But I have some really exciting news in the fact that it's not officially released yet, but I have had a buddy of mine has put together noncompliantamerica.com, which is a website, and it's going to be where you can get access to this show. I'm going to have listed articles. There's going to be a newsroom on there with some of the content that we talk about on and off the air. There's going to be an email list, email campaign, everything else. But more importantly, there is another segment which is going to be tied to a bigger platform, which I can't make the announcement for the platform, but the platform is going to be a place for regular citizens, regular activist people, where there is a completely digested download of political atmosphere in your state, in your county, in your city, down to the elected officials, what they voted on, what their track record is, and have pure accountability as far as access to these political spaces in some of these political fights, like the flock camera and the data centers. There's going to be a one-channel avenue for you to be able to get involved, and it's easy to navigate, and it's easy to stay on board with what's going on in your city, in your town, in your county, in your state. Because right now it's like social media, and then you have, media influencers and different people that are, trying to curate what's important and what's not. Well, this is going to give access to you, your individual fingertips, to be able to have your own smaller community and be able to deploy action, tangible action that will make an impact with people in your community. And it is 100% open and transparent. And there's no games, there's no hassle, there's nothing. But it's going to give you like a Facebook, MySpace kind of platform within your open community. There's also going to be education with how our government works, how your local city works, get you educated on how to be a more active citizen. And it's all going to be at your fingertips, and that's coming out in the next couple weeks. So that's going to be tied in with my website, noncompliantamerica.com. So not only will you be able to access the show, you'll be able to like, share, subscribe, get involved with that, get in the community and become active. And you don't have to participate in all the local BS with the lifetime politicians that are trying to curate information and everything for you. This will be a easy, simple to use portal that I think will be extremely beneficial for all of you. So super excited to make that announcement. Thank you guys very much for listening. I'm gonna kind of end this show in more of this documentary. If you want to find this documentary, I'm gonna post it right on my X. In the near future, it will be on my website, noncompliantamerica.com, where you'll be able to find all the information, facts, and stuff that we post on here in our show every week. But without you guys, the listeners, without, all the support that we've had and everything else, we couldn't have gotten to this stage. So I'm really happy, really excited. We are going to be moving into video now, which we'll have videos and shares and viral clips that you could share and everything else. But it's been a fun journey. And, we've just begun to fight, and we're not going anywhere. I don't have anybody in my ear that's telling me what to say. We can talk about anything in an open dialogue, open discussion about everything, because that is the key to the future into fighting this stuff. So I'm going to end on this documentary. Thank you guys very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
It sounds like he's flexing that they've constructed a panopticon. They can see you at all times, and they know your every action. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
That's a little scary.
And he comes up and we have a short discussion. I'm like, how did this happen? And he said, it was something with our system, we have an issue with it. We shook hands. The deputies didn't actually leave, and I had to continue work at their location, within a few feet of them, in fact, into which I overheard them having discussion about the issues they are having with this new system and why this may have happened. And what the surrounding deputy that he was asking this to said, well, one possibility is on the license plate it used an O instead of a 0 and flagged it, or his name is similar to the person we actually are looking for. I realized in that moment, oh, this isn't like a person had made a mistake. Their computer system had flagged me.
And I just want this solved. And then I spent the next 2 weeks, every single day I documented every time I called somebody to get somewhere to stop wasting everybody's time on this.
And why are you so concerned at this point?
Because it's your reputation. I mean, I'm very fortunate. We've lived in our neighborhood for a while. I mean, we looked at our cameras. We saw quite a few of our neighbors go by. They, of course, seeing a police car in your neighborhood that doesn't normally see a police car, they probably were, what's going on there? Is it a domestic dispute, or is something else going on? And thank gosh we'd lived here for a while, so we didn't have that stigma. But because that $25 package over the rest of my career, which I'm hoping would be a long one, thank the heavens above, I have a great employer. My boss saw some. I reached right out to her. I said, hey, here's the situation. She said, yeah, I have to let my other people know, HR, all them. And she's like, I can't say what's going to happen, but I sent her all the evidence so that they could see it and be like, hey, it's very clearly not her. This isn't just accusatory. And she said, I don't know if they're going to do, administrative leave or anything like that, because we don't know. It's an open criminal case at the moment. And thank goodness everybody saw it and said, are you kidding me? That is not you.
Do you support flock cameras?
Clearly, I am very in favor of surveillance, privately owned. And I think anybody in this nation will sign a release saying, hey, we're looking for a lost child. Can we have all the digital evidence from this time to this time? Everybody would be like, here, take everything you want and everything you can get. I don't care if you're surveilling me to find that child. But the fact that they can just go around and start doing criminal investigations and come so accusatory, they kind of made a bad stain on it.
Now, when Flock isn't being used by police to accuse innocent people of committing crimes, it's sold as a tool to HOAs and police departments to recover stolen vehicles and help solve crime. But how is it actually being used by the federal agencies using them either indirectly or directly? I met up with a DEA task force officer to understand how federal agencies access Flock by working together with local law enforcement.
How long have you been aware of Flock and ALPR cameras?
Several years now. I mean, it's probably been myself over 4. DEA's biggest use for Flock cameras would be through the use of hot lists and tracking vehicles across the country. The DEA knows of a vehicle that might be used for narcotics trafficking or cash smuggling. Just like with any LPR camera, it can be tracked